Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. Well, there you have it. We've started the show on a super high note. The Nifty has hit a fresh record high. Ladies and gentlemen, 25,336 right now for the Nifty. It's a 417 point of a jump that you see on the markets. It's a sharp U-turn that we've seen and sudden bout of buying that's actually emerged on the market. So where is this buying action really coming in from? If you look at the Nifty, that's also inched higher. 600 points of an uptick you can see on the Nifty Bank too. 51,618 right now, a 1.1% uptick for the Nifty Bank. All the sectors of the Nifty are actually up into the green. There's a sharp bounce. You can actually see how the gains started just about half an hour back and they've scaled up to the high point of not just the day, and it's a record high for the Nifty, and similar pattern you can see on the Nifty Bank as well right now. The metals are the ones which are shining the most, almost 3% of an uptick for the Nifty Metal Index. Infra, autos, oil and gas, PSU banks, these are the spaces that are buzzing with huge gains right now. The top movers on the Nifty are Hindalco, Bharti Airtel, NTPC, Shriram Finance, Oil and Natural Gas and Wipro right now. All of them upwards of 3% is the kind of gains that you can see on the top 5-6 movers on the Nifty. And in fact, not just that, all the stocks on the Nifty are into the green right now. It's a green screen in front of you and a brilliant one at that as well. The Sensex has also hit a new record high, viewers, 82,713 right now, 1,190 points of an uptick right now on the Sensex. So you can see a sharp move, and both these indices are actually at a new record high. After the 2nd of September, we've actually seen that the Sensex has actually hit a new record high. It's a stunning move on the markets right now and a stellar gain that you can see across the board. Within the F&O space, you have Canfin Homes, that's up 5.5%. The top mover right now, Aditya Birla Fashion Retail, Canfin Homes, L&T Finance, Hindalco, Nalco. These are the stocks that are actually buzzing with sharp gains in the F&O space as well. Let's quickly look at the index contributors right now. Which are the stocks that are actually contributing maximum to the Nifty and its gains right now? Reliance Industries is definitely contributing to these sharp moves on the markets. Let's pull up the stock higher. 46 points of a move on the upside as far as Reliance Industries is concerned. HDFC Bank, that is the one that has pulled up the markets higher in trade today. Look at RIL, how strongly it's moving. 38 points of a move is being contributed only by HDFC Bank on the Nifty gains today. Bharti Airtel is another one that's been moving very sharply. 33 points higher for this one. Infosys, L&T are the other big contributors right now. Sunny Agrawal is now joining in from SBI Securities to share with us his viewpoints. Sunny, congratulations yet again. It did not seem like that it will happen this way, but the markets have a tendency to surprise us, and today at out of the blue we have a record high on the Sensex and also on the Nifty.
Yeah, congratulations everyone for a life high in the market. I think it's the rally is purely driven by heavyweights of the Nifty. So if you see HDFC Bank, Mahindra and Mahindra, all the heavyweights are contributing to the rally today. And I feel it's a more of a short covering. Anyway, we were not able to cross 25,100, 200 convincingly since last few days. And today, 25,100 was the level where we have seen a maximum call writing. And I believe it's a short covering rally. And obviously now, when we have scaled a new high, definitely further momentum is likely to build up from here.
Momentum is likely to build up from here. Let's quickly take in a view from you on HDFC Bank first, Sunny, since that is the stock that's really contributed sharply to the gains today. It's made a sharp comeback too. How are you looking at the charts and as well as the bank right now? Do you think this is the time when the momentum can carry on?
Yeah, I think there is no doubt that it's a consensus buy as far as valuations are concerned for HDFC Bank, and I think there was some rumor which is floating on in the market that China is going to cut the rate by 50 basis point on $5 trillion mortgages, and that can spur the demand for metal and other commodities. And I believe that is one of the factors that has led the rally in the market. And anyway, ahead of US Fed meeting on 18th of September, where we are expecting a rate cut, I believe that RBI will also follow the footstep of US Fed, and maybe in the month of December or Jan, not in December, maybe in the month of Jan, we will see a rate cut from RBI. So yes, which will again be helpful for a bank in terms of pushing the credit growth and so on and so forth. So I think anyway scenario is turning positive as far as lending or credit growth is concerned for the entire banking and as a sector. And anyway, banks were underperformers since last 2 3 months, and valuations are not very expensive for the private sector bank, and that has led to the rally in private sector banks.
Right. Apart from this, let's discuss Bharti Airtel for you. A sharp bout of momentum right here, 4.2% higher now at 1645. How are you looking at this telecom major? And do you see the stock really moving higher from these levels too?
I think the entire telecom sector is in a structural strong up move. The reason being that there are a lot of levers for increasing the ARPU with all these telecom service provider, whether it is migration from feature phone to smartphone, whether it is migration from 4G to 5G. The spectrum auction is behind all these companies. They have mostly repaid their AGR dues. So I think it's a structural growth story wherein we will see a increase in ARPU every 6 to 8 months down the line, and that is the reason we will see a continuous improvement in earnings as well as return on equity. And for Bharti, even African business has started to deliver a decent set of numbers. So yeah, we continue to remain bullish on Bharti from a long-term perspective.
Okay. Apart from this, it's the finance names that are hogging all the limelight. Canfin Homes, L&T Finance, erstwhile it was PNB Housing Finance. Of course, Bajaj Housing IPO is the key trigger, which has actually seen biggest ever demand in terms of bids, over 3 lakh crore rupees odd in the history of Indian IPOs. How are you looking at this housing finance and the finance space as a whole, and what looks good to you here?
I think yes, definitely the way valuation and there is a lot of craze on Bajaj Housing Finance IPO, which is coming at 3.7 times price to book and expected to list at premium. I believe the rub-off effect in terms of valuation is being seen on companies which are trading at a lower valuation. Or case in point, LIC Housing Finance trading close to one price to book, PNB Housing Finance kind of turnaround story. And that's the catch-up play that is happening on the entire housing finance companies.
Right. Let's also look at what else is buzzing. It's the metal space, 2.8% higher. It's come back very strongly, Sunny. Do you have confidence in the metal story going on from the current levels too? There are stocks like Nalco, Hindalco, NMDC, Vedanta that are doing very well, and it's across the board that our gains are coming in. But is it just going to be cyclical factor, or is it going to have some more legs?
I think again the rally in the metal stock is purely driven by the optimism that China will try to revive its economy by giving some booster dose, and that's the only driving factor which I feel in the short term, at least for the commodities prices and hence the metal companies. And at the same time, in case there is a rate cut by US, weakening dollar can definitely assist all these metal companies.
Okay, got it. Remember, viewers, this is for the first time that you've actually seen now the Sensex crossing 82,900. And we have now set the target on 83,000 as far as the Sensex is also concerned. A sharp bout of momentum. We're already at 25,400 now on the Nifty, and we are crossing that level for the first time as well as far as the Nifty is concerned. A 477 point of a move on the uptick that you can actually see. It's been a very, very smart rebound that you're actually seeing in the markets right now. Remains to be seen whether this will continue to carry on too. Auto space and infra space are the other spaces that are making a comeback. Let's look at the infra counters. What else is moving, and the auto space as well. This seems to be throwing in some interesting names in trade today. So I think it's M&M that's buzzing in trade, 3% higher. Eicher Motors, Samvardhan Motherson, Hero Moto, Bajaj Auto, TVS Motors, they're all buzzing. And how? Sunny, to you, the auto space, How are you looking at the momentum? Where do you think the continuous momentum can be? Tata Motors is back into the green, viewers, 1% higher now at 986. This is something that was causing all the nerves for all the viewers of and followers of auto space yesterday. It's come back strongly, and the rest of the spaces are sharply higher too.
I think within auto space, definitely we are bullish on two-wheeler as a segment, and that continue to do well in terms of volume growth as well as in terms of growth trajectory, which all these companies have set. And at the same time, we are seeing a lot of optimism because of listing of electric two-wheeler segment, wherein Ola has already got listed. Ather Energy has filed for RHP, which is again a kind of a subsidiary of Hero Moto. So I think two-wheeler space will be our first pick within the auto, and within that, Hero Moto, which is trading at a reasonable valuation, Bajaj Auto and TVS, all three players. Among the four-wheelers side, obviously, my M&M driven by the robust order. However, there are concerns that due to high inventory, we are seeing some high amount of discounting on entire EV as a portfolio. But again, I feel that's a short-term phenomenon. Maybe post the Shraddh periods are over in the month of September. October is the time where festival season will kick off, and I am
Yes.
expecting the discount to be rolled back, and that will augur well for passenger vehicle segment also.
Okay, got it. D Street investors have already added over 5 lakh crore rupees, viewers, with the kind of gains that you've actually seen in today's trade and those record high moves. So, strong moves, 500 points higher now on the Nifty. We are at the high point, 25,430. There is no stopping this kind of a rally in today's trade. It's only and only inching up. A very strong move. The Nifty is now 2% higher, ladies and gentlemen. That's the kind of move that you're getting on the markets, and across the board there is a very sharp bout of momentum. Metals now 3% higher in trade, and just like how Sunny also pointed out, that there is some buzz that China may be cutting rates by up to 50 basis points on the $5 trillion mortgages as soon as September to boost consumption. And that is probably something that may be fueling in this positive momentum in the metal space, as well as the oil and gas space, which is now up by about 1.8%, since China is a huge consumer of both of these commodities, metals and oil and gas as well. Oil and gas for you, how are you looking at the current space, of course, amidst the current ongoing crude oil dip as well? What would you say?
Yeah, within oil and gas space, looking at lower crude oil prices, obviously the first bet will be oil marketing companies. Assuming that even though there is some price cut on petrol or diesel side of for the retail guys, I think oil marketing companies is the one space to look at. And at the same time, city gas distribution, I would like to bet my money on Mahanagar Gas, where I feel the valuations are on a relatively cheaper basis compared to other companies.
Okay, got it. So that's the view that is coming in as far as the oil and gas space is also concerned. Let us now see what else is buzzing. Reliance Industries is the top contributor, 2.2% higher at 2967. Sunny, look at Reliance Industries and tell us what is ahead for Reliance Industries at these levels. Would you be warranting a big buy? Because remember, why I ask you this is that when the AGM had announced a 1:1 bonus, the investors had flocked to Reliance Industries to buy the stock, but thereafter, there was no such excitement that we actually saw on the Reliance Industries counter following that. Today, it's actually performing very strongly. It's made a sharp comeback, 2% of a rally on this one. How would you look at it?
Yeah, I think the fair value of Reliance on SOTP basis is close to 3,300, 3,400 rupees. And obviously, the next leg of catalyst for the stock to move up is listing of retail and telecom business. And obviously, maybe close to the bonus issue, we may see some uptick in a stock price. But again, fundamentally, bonus or split doesn't have any impact on financials of any company. But yes, the catalysts are obviously listing of retail and telecom business.
Okay, got it. So that's the view coming in as far as Reliance Industries is also concerned. Remember, it's the top moving counter as far as the Nifty is concerned, and the top contributing factor for the Nifty too. Let's look at some of the other moving parts in the markets. Let's look at the broadest index, the Nifty 500, to spot where exactly are the sharpest gains really coming in today's trading session. Remember, today's listed stock, the debutant Sri Tirupati Balaji, is now 14% higher in trade. Apart from this, you're looking at IOL Chemicals, that's up 11%. You also have Keynes Technologies, that's up 11% in trade. You have Saxoft, you have Unichem Laboratories, GPT Healthcare, then you have Yatharth Hospital, some of the pharma and the healthcare pack stocks that are buzzing in trade. Pharma healthcare for you, it was seeming that the markets are turning defensives, and therefore a lot of people were turning their eyes towards FMCG, pharma, IT spaces, Sunny, in the last few weeks. Within the pharma, there has been a considerable amount of momentum across the three segments: healthcare, hospitals, diagnostics, and even the frontline pharma counters. How are you looking at the pharma space now?
Yeah, obviously, with the risk of trade that was playing out since last few weeks, I think pharma was in the spotlight. But having said that, I think the tailwind is pretty robust as far as pharma earnings are concerned going forward, and that was also one of the reasons where we were seeing under ownership, and that has led to the buying in the pharma company. I think pharma should continue to do well in terms of earning growth as well as in terms of stock price performance. Maybe for when the risk-on trade is back, maybe for next few weeks, it may go into in the consolidation mode. But ultimately, long-term growth outlook continue to remain robust for pharma companies, especially when Biosecure Act, which has been of late passed by US Parliament. So that will definitely augur well for CDMO and CRO player. So I feel the entire pharma sector is looking good from a long-term perspective, and few stocks which are likely to do well, such as Natco Pharma, where we are seeing a very cheap valuation, or for that matter, Lupin, where we have seen a very good set of number during the quarter one. Cipla again, a pretty good, robust set of numbers. So these are a few companies where we are bullish as far as pharma is concerned.
83,000 has happened, and 83,100 also has happened, viewers. We have seen the Sensex crossing 83,100 mark for the very first time. We are looking at newer, fresher, all-time high levels on both the Nifty and the Sensex. We've seen for the first time Nifty crossing that 25,400 mark as well. Sunny, what according to you are the key contributing factors to this sharp rally, and what's next after today's move?
Yeah, I think the key contributing factor was obviously the expectation of rate cut in China as well as in US. That will aid a global recovery. That's one of the important factors. Followed by short covering, I think 25,100 was the level where there was a humongous call writing which was happening in the market since morning. So as per my discussion with our derivatives team, I think that is one of the key trigger which has led to the. I think even put call ratio was at 0.6 in the morning for 25,100 level. So that has led to the short covering in the market. And obviously, if you see since last 1 month, the data, all the data are indicating that there is a recession which is happening globally. And all of a sudden, when you talk of revival support by the central government or central bank to revive the economy, obviously risk on trade is something which can come back in a big way in case there is improvement in the sentiment as far as the economic growth is concerned.
So where next do you expect, if this rally has to continue, where will the fresh money go into? Like I was pointing out that the markets were turning increasingly defensive, wanting to go towards safe havens, raising the cash levels. If that kind of hope is coming back, that it could be China first, then of course US and the rest of the globe as well, which will move towards a rate cut scenario, that could end with fresh hopes of growth coming back across the globe. So if that happens and the markets get this fresh move, where will the fresh money go into?
I think with the markets at LiFi, obviously capital market as a theme is which will again come back with a big bang over the next few days. So all the broking related company exchanges, wealth manager. So this is the one thing where I feel again a lot of interest will be seen from all the type of investor. Second, obviously, the underperforming sector was banking, private banking side. So that can have a further leg up as far as rally is concerned. And obviously, the beneficiary of lower crude oil prices. So whether it is an airline company, paint companies, tire companies, or for that matter, chemical companies or FMCG companies, even consumer staple companies will definitely benefit out of a lower crude oil prices. So companies like HUL, after a long time, we have seen 2900 levels. So maybe the momentum may continue on certain few defensive names also.
Okay, got it. Let's again look at the Nifty next 50 names as well. There are some interesting names right there which are pulling up higher. Zomato, 4.3% higher at 283. Remember, these are fresh record levels for the stock too. How are you looking at Zomato afresh? Do you think even at these levels one can go ahead and buy the stock?
Yes, I think we continue to remain constructive on Zomato at the current levels. Also, the reason being that all the three vertical, whether it is a food delivery, whether it is a quick commerce business, which is through Blinkit or B2B Hyperpure, and the recent acquisition of Paytm business that will start contributing to the that will get a synergy in a longer term. On the top of that, expectation of Swiggy document being filed in the month of October, that will have a rub-off effect on valuations of Zomato also. So I think the fair value of Zomato, I feel maybe in a short to medium term is close to 320, 340. And but if somebody has got a long-term horizon of 2 to 3 year, I won't be surprised if the stock further goes up by 50 to 70% over the period of next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, got it. So that's the view that's coming in on Zomato right there. Aviation space is also throwing in an interesting move today on Indigo. The stock has crossed 5,000 mark too. About 2% of an uptick has been seen on this stock in today's trading session. On Indigo, what would you say, Sunny?
Yeah, I think again a clear market leader as far as aviation sector is concerned, Indigo, and one of the key again beneficiary of a lower crude oil price, although in the form of lower ticket prices, which will be passed on to the consumer, and that will lead to the increase in air travel. I think again, but most of the rally has also played out over the last 1 year. So I think the fair value of Indigo is close to 5,500, 5,600. Keeping that in mind, one can definitely look at the stock from a short to medium term perspective.
Okay, got it. So that's the view that's coming in on Indigo as well. Sunny, let's ask you on some other pockets which we haven't asked you. Remember, we were talking about the private sector banks like HDFC. PSU banks are also recovering a 1.6% higher now in trade, led by State Bank of India. That's up 2.4%, 787 right now. Can Bank, Indian Bank, Bank of Baroda, PNB, Union Bank, all across the board there is a sharp buzz. But the way this sector or the, this was the only index that was a big laggard last series. Again, it's been dwindling a lot of momentum as well. How are you placed on the PSU banking space right now?
I think again the concern which were there for private banks applies to PSU bank also on mobilization of deposit, pressure on NIM, so on and so forth. And at the same time, the credit growth outlook is close to between 10 to 12% for most of the PSU banks. So I think again I would like to remain cautiously optimistic as far as PSU bank is concerned, and would like to bet on the larger size PSU bank like Indian Bank, or for that matter Bank of Baroda and Canara Bank, and rather than relying on a smaller size bank. For a smaller size bank, I would like to bet my money on a regional banks like Federal, Karur Vysya Bank, where we have seen a very robust set of commentary also coming during the last quarter. Yeah, that's the way to ride PSU as well as smaller size private sector bank.
Okay, you know what else is buzzing? It's the power space, and NTPC is pulling up 4% higher for NTPC, 405 odd levels for this stock. How are you looking at NTPC and the rest of the power space?
I think again NTPC has delivered a very fantastic set of results during the June quarter and continue to remain bullish on the growth prospect, especially ahead of the listing of their renewable energy arm, which may be 3 to 6 months down the line. I think the fair value of the business is close to 440, 450 rupees. Keeping that in mind, one can accordingly take position in NTPC.
Okay, got it. So that's the view that has actually come in. Let's again look at some of the other interesting stocks. Infosys is also contributing about 21 points. We haven't discussed on IT space right now, Sunny. How are you looking at the IT counters? You know, it was a little while back, we saw mid-cap IT names definitely surging. Stocks like Coforge, Emphasis, LTI Mindtree, LTTS, you know, these were the stocks that were actually hogging all the limelight. Right now, between the mid and the large cap IT names, how are you, you know, going to be focusing your attention?
Yeah, on IT name, I think I would like to focus my attention on basically two subsectors, the companies which have gotten a heavy exposure on BFSI side, especially on a US and European economy. So obviously, large tier one player have got majority of the exposure on BFSI side, and within mid-sized companies, companies where the focus is on ER&D space, so companies like KPIT, for that matter, Coforge, LTTS. So these are persistent, which is on data front. So these are the few companies which I would like to focus on.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the IT pack is also concerned. Let's also pull up the Nifty once again. Remember, this is the biggest move for the Nifty in the last 3 months on an intraday basis that we have seen. So a strong bout of momentum that we are actually seeing on the markets right now. Right now, 1.8% higher at 25,367, but we've touched an all-time high today of 25,433. That is the new all-time high that probably we are going to be referring to. We're 10 minutes away from the markets, and we are still holding up about 450 points higher as far as the markets are concerned. India VIX, we haven't marked even once in the closing session. It's down by 4.6% at 12.99 odd levels. So that is something that's also pointing out to momentum in the markets, because the VIX and the volatility index is also lower in trade. You know what, Sunny, it's still the entire defense pack, and it's still the entire railway space which is not moving in a full-blown fashion despite such a strong momentum coming in into the markets. How are you assessing the moves in these erstwhile outperformers of the markets now?
Yeah, definitely. I think we have already seen a significant outperformance from all these railways as well as defense counter during the last 18 months. And I think maybe they may not lead the next kind of bull run. Maybe some new sector will emerge that will take the lead for this upcoming new momentum. And it's a time for all these companies to deliver on the number front, execute the order book, and then probably maybe 2 quarters down the line, maybe it will again gain confidence and start discounting numbers 2 years ahead of the FY 27-28. So I feel maybe the consolidation is something which will continue in the entire railway and defense as a sector.
Okay, it's turning out to be a terrific Thursday. But how about Friday then? What is the thing that you would expect us and investors to really focus on, tomorrow as well? How would you ask them to prepare themselves, Sunny?
I think the few investors who were sitting on sideline in expectation that market may see a correction, which has been the trend historically in the month of September. So September historically has been a weaker month as far as markets are concerned. And I believe a lot of money was sitting on sideline, and with the
Yeah.
market selling new high today, many will try to rush in to deploy fresh capital in the market. And again, I would like to give advice that don't go overboard and over
Yes.
leverage at a current juncture. Continue to remain invested or identify your universe where obviously there is a strong set of earning growth where we will see during the month of or quarter of September. Case in point, companies like Capacite Infra, where we have seen a very robust growth guidance by the company, or for the matter on consumer durable side, companies like EPAC Durable, Umber Enterprises, Zomato we have discussed, where again there are many growth levers which are available. So companies backed by the robust earning growth prospect, those are the companies which one should keep on radar.
Okay, got it. So that's the view that's coming in on the markets and the way forward from here. We're just about 7 minutes, viewers, from the day's close. It's turned out to be a fantastic last 1 hour of trade in the markets. A brilliant one where all across the board you have actually seen strong gains coming in. Let's again focus on the broadest index. There are some other names that are pulling up. You have Engineers India Limited, that's up by about 8.4%. And apart, I think there was this new orders also that the company had gained about 4681 odd crore rupees in the first 5 months of FY25, marking a 37% increase. That news had come in the morning. Stock is reacting now. It's now at the day's high point at 8.4% at 227 odd levels. On Engineers India, do you cover this stock? Would you have a view at all?
Yes, the order book news which came in the morning today, that's nothing new. I think that was discussed during the analyst call also. It is just that something which has appeared in the news is getting discounted now. And at the same time, Engineers India continue to remain a play on heavy capex which is going on in the entire oil and gas as a sector. So you will see all the major upstream as well as downstream companies have announced a big capex, and Engineers India will definitely benefit out of that. At the same time, new smaller sectors like green hydrogen is something where they have got an expertise in, and that will again start contributing significantly, maybe 3 years down the line. So we continue to remain bullish on Engineers India, and I believe the fair value of the business is close to 280 rupees from a short to medium term perspective.
Okay, let me just read out some outperformers within the finance pack, the NBFC space, which we have also marked before, but just wanted to point out the kind of gains we are seeing. On Sundaram Finance, you see a 6% move at 4900 rupees today. Canfin Homes, you see a 909 level, 5% uptick. L&T Finance, you have a 4.5% uptick at 173. IFL Finance, LIC Housing Finance, Credit Access Grameen, Shriram Finance, Hudco, Aditya Birla Capital, 361 WAM, Geo Financial Services, Home First Finance. They are all abuzz with sharp gains in today's trading session. Geofin, let's discuss that one. We haven't discussed today. The momentum continues. How do you expect this stock also to continue to garner attention investors, and how would you ask them to move?
Yeah, I think again, Geofin being from a Mukesh Ambani group, I believe that right now the business structure is work in progress, and we have seen the company making various announcements on the various subsector like a distribution of the various financial product, wealth management business, mutual fund business. But again, it will take time for all these businesses to scale up. But going by the history, I believe ultimately the way Mukesh Ambani Group function is that they try to achieve a leadership in any new business where they foray into over the period of 5 to 10 years. And I believe the same magic will be repeated in Geofin also. So if somebody is a really long term investor, when I say long term, more than 5 to 10 years kind of horizon, definitely one can look at Geofin to add in their book.
Okay, got it. Let's pull up one stock, Indian Hotels. Remember, we've been discussing this tourism hospitality theme for quite a while on Business Today television, and we've been saying how the upcoming festive season, the holiday season will see a lot of travel from people, and therefore there is this demand surge across the hospitality space. 2.2% higher for Indian Hotels at 699. The interesting part is that the market cap of this company has gone up across 1 lakh crore rupee mark as well. So that's happened for the first time for this company. Let's discuss with you, Sunny. Indian Hotels first, and probably you could also pick up any of your favorite tourism travel stock too.
Yeah, I think no doubt market leader as far as the organized hotel space is concerned, debt-free balance sheet, and continue to do well. Demand is outpacing the supply. So I think the entire hotel industry is in sweet spot at a current juncture, and Indian Hotel is obviously one of the beneficiary. A few companies where we feel that we can see a turnaround performance. One is Sami Hotel, which is an institutional run business catering to large brand like Hyatt or for the Marriott. And so basically their specialty is about acquiring businesses, turn around the companies, own the asset. And I believe the last 2 quarters we have already seen a turnaround in business for Sami Hotel. And I am expecting a significant ramp up in earning over the next year. So Sami Hotel is one somebody who's looking at a kind of moderate risk, moderate return kind of bet within the hotel.
Samhi Hotels is something that you are looking at, and that's where you believe investors should be focusing on going forward from here. All right, Sunny, it's time to bid your goodbye to you and to also wind up the markets right there. Any stock quickly before you go for us to keep an eye out on tomorrow?
Again, it's from a perspective of 1 day or 2 day perspective. I think a stock like Aditya Birla Asset Management, that is ABSL AMC. So asset management is the one space which I believe is the clear-cut beneficiary of whenever markets scale a new high, because ultimately fees is something which is driven by the on a percentage of AUM which the asset manager owns. And with market at life high, I believe the AUM will also be at life high for all these AMC companies. And Aditya Birla AMC is the one company which I would like to bet my money for a short term.
All right, got that. Thank you so much, Sunny, for being with us. Viewers, the Nifty has frozen in front of you at 395 points of a gain at 25,313. We've definitely come the highest off the highest point of the day. Remember, we've clocked in a record high of 25,433. And from that time, we did slid back to 25,313 in trade today. And of course, across the board there were gains. All the sectors have ended today's day, and it's the Nifty expiry session too. So what a high note that we've actually ended the Nifty's expiry on the weekly basis. All the sectors up and about, metals taking the cake, 3% higher, shining the brightest. Infra, auto, PSU banks, consumer durables, oil and gas were the other big bank movers. Top movers on the Nifty today. On the closing level, we did see Hindalco 4% higher, Bharti Airtel 3.5% up, NTPC, Shriram Finance, Grasim and Eicher Motors as among those top performers on the Nifty. Did we see any stocks slip into the red? Towards the end of the session, there were two stocks that slipped into the red, Asian Paints and Nestle. These were the only two stocks that have actually slipped. Rest of the stocks, 48 of them, have actually managed to close in the green. But all the sectors have managed to close in the green, and we've also seen a sharp move even on the PSU index, the PSE index, that's 1.7% higher. NMDC, NTPC, Steel Authority, BHEL, you name it, 3% of an up move can be seen across the board on these stocks. Canpin Homes, Nalco, L&T Finance, Aditya Birla Fashion Retail, these were the top performers on the F&O space. What dragged in the F&O space? You did see stocks like Granules dropping sharply in trade, Biocon, Naveen Fluorine, the Nifty, Gujarat Gas as well, and Dalmia Bharat. These were the stocks that actually ended lower. The Nifty India Wix also ended almost 5.2% weaker at below the 13 levels at 12.9 odd levels right there. So there you have it. That's as far as the closing of the markets is concerned. It's been a fantastic expiry for the Nifty, and we have actually seen, and there you see, just within minutes, we have seen that adjustment on the Nifty. 470 points higher, 25,388. That is where you have actually seen the Nifty end. This is a record closing high, viewers, for the Nifty. 470 points higher in trade, and you did see that sharp bounce right within the last few seconds that probably got adjusted a few minutes after the markets have shut shop. 1.5% higher for the Nifty Bank at 51,772. It's a 762 point of a jump on that one. We'll wind up at that, but many thanks for being with us on this special edition. Do stay tuned in case you're interested in following what's buzzing in the world of business and stock markets, even beyond the stock market hours.
India is now one of the largest and the fastest growing ecosystem for early stage businesses. Do you think this is going to be one of the key drivers of India's new innovative growth and help us to catapult us forward rather than